Hey there guys, Magic's here again. In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to use the Grand Exchange database to find items to potentially flip or long-term merch, like, such as a Santa hat. A friend of mine had 7 of them when they were 80 mil. Now they've risen to 120 mil, and he has 8 of them, so what's that? That's almost a 400 mil profit. So, pretty good shit. So, first off, what you're going to want to do is go to the RuneScape homepage and go Game Guides and click on the Grand Exchange link. Oh, and also, someone requested in the comments for recommended gold, like how much you should have. It doesn't really matter how much you have, it just depends on your item. So, if you're doing, let's say, off the top of my head, whips, okay? I would say you need to buy at least 10. So you're going to want around about 10 mil. But for something like bowstring, you're only going to need about 1 mil. But again, the more money you have, the more money you're going to make, as I've said a few times. If you're already wealthy player and you're trying to look for a rare, what you're going to want to do, you're going to go to this little, you're going to get to this menu here after you've clicked the Grand Exchange in Game Guides, and then you click View Trade Info right here above More and Price Drops, and then it's going to list every single item from most valuable on the right, and most traded on the left. Sorry, not every single item. Top 50 most traded items and top 50 most expensive. So let's say I was trying to buy a Christmas cracker. I could go in here and it shows me what their price has been, so I can get the market price and a feel for how it's rising or dropping or whatever. But these things aren't exactly going down anytime soon. But for most of you guys there, what you're gonna want to do is when you get to this screen here, you want to go to Price Drops and click More. And then you want to find in here a decent item for your price range, but not something retarded that no one buys, like a COD. I didn't even know they had COD in the fucking game. But and try not to do things like Rune Essence or runes, because they don't really fluctuate in price very much. If they do, it's like 1 GP, 2 GP, and you're not going to make very much money. But just up here, I saw Brackish Blades, and I've already got about 11 of them. So they've dropped 4%, which is pretty good. So I'm going to open these up, just click them, and check the graph out. As you can see, these have risen a fuckload and had a huge drop, then they rose again, then they've dropped. But as you can see here, if I go back into the 30 days, it's just starting to rise up again. As you can see, it's just starting to flatline. So this isn't the optimal time to buy Brackish Blades. If you wanted to, if you're gonna start to buy an item, I recommend about here, because by about this stage, it's just starting to curve. You still have a day or two to buy the items as they drop. But when you get to here, it could start to rise again at any time. So if I'm buying 500 Brackish Blades, I could get 30 by the time it rises. Which, yeah, of course, it's going to get me a bit of a profit. Especially if it rises back up to 800k. But if it doesn't, well, bad luck for me. So, for this video, this was mainly a video on using the Grand Exchange and holding items. So, I wouldn't use the Grand Exchange database to look for items to flip merch, because you don't need to know prices to flip merch. You can flip merch almost anything. It is better to look them up on the Grand Exchange, because you don't want to be flip merching an item that's rising. It is always best to flip merch something again when it's cheapest, like here, because then you're going to get it for even cheaper than you would just normally buying it, and you're going to make even more, because if you save 3k an item and you have, 300 of them, well, you just saved yourself 300k. But I'm just gonna quickly log into RuneScape and buy a couple of these and show you guys. I'll show you how long I'm probably gonna hold on to them for, and yeah, I'll be back soon. Alright, see ya. Alright guys, I'm back. As you can see, my cash stack has actually shrunk by almost 15 mil in the last 2 days because I lost a little bit staking, and I gave a little bit to a friend of mine. So, but also I bought 10 brackish blades, which has cost me about 5 mil. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I buy them. First, once you've found your item, you're obviously going to want to search it up in the Grand Exchange. So, brackish blade. And you're going to want to buy it for, seeing as it's rising, this is a risky part, You're going to want to buy it for about, personally, I can make my money back quite easily. So, I'll have no problem buying these for, the extra 4k and risk an extra 400k if they drop some more because, I can make that back really easily. But if you're a new player or you're not very experienced in merchanting or flip merching, I'd recommend just buying them for market price or maybe even a little bit lower. But try not to buy them a little bit lower when they're rising. The only reason I say to buy it a bit more expensive, because then it will stay in the price range as it rises. But if it's rising and you have your offer for 5% under, then in 3 days that 5% under could be 15% under because the item's risen 100 or 150k. So try not to go ridiculous and buy these for 580k each. Just something that's not too high, a little bit higher, but not so high that it's an impossible goal for it to rise. I know personally, if a brackish blade rises again, which it almost certainly will, it will most likely raise more than 14k or 16k, sorry. So I've really got nothing to worry about here. So if I get this video up in time before these have risen again, I'd recommend buying brackish blades if you can afford to, or practicing on cheaper items. So if you have 10 mil, don't go risking all your 8 mil on an item if you've never done it, because I don't want you messaging me being like, oh dude, your guide's shit, I lost 20 mil because of you. Just try on little things like maybe 10 rune scimitars if they've dropped, or 2 or 3 rune scimitars even. With whatever you're doing, if you're flipping, only flip like 10 or 20 items just so you get the hang of it. Me, I can go and flip 200,000 items. I can go to bed and wake up in the morning with 100k bowstring and then just flip them for 1 or 2 mil, which isn't a lot, but not bad for a night's work of sleeping. But yeah, I'll try and get this video up as soon as possible. Again, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry if the videos aren't that great. I've just started making them, so they're not intended to be, the best videos in the world. So, message me or comment if you have any tips. Post on my channel if you'd like to. It's always appreciated. Any feedback, I'd love. Subscribe if you like me. Thumbs it up. I love it. If you're popular and you think the videos are good, give me a shout out. I'm not gonna argue with you. Just yeah, thanks a lot, guys. And also, I'm gonna try to edit 2 clips together for this video between the homepage and the RuneScape. I skipped the login bit because I want to try and edit them together and see how it comes up. And I've never edited before, so hopefully it'll turn out okay. But if there's a problem with the transition or the quality changes or something, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. And my friend just sent me a message saying dick, so that's gonna show up on YouTube. But yeah, thanks guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Yeah, I'll catch you later. Subscribe if you like it, and yeah. Alright, see you guys later.